Hello everyone and a very warm welcome. Today we are going to talk about searchability. Searchability is a product that helps you enhance your SharePoint search. How many times have you gone into SharePoint, typed in something and you have no results? Let's say that I type in a word and you get no results at all. Isn't that frustrating? You know that the file is in SharePoint, but where is the file in SharePoint? You see that the SharePoint search could not find any results. That is really frustrating. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can go ahead and set up searchability in SharePoint and make sure that the SharePoint returns search results. In addition to just SharePoint search results, if you're using Copilot to create agents, and if your data source is in SharePoint, and if the data is still not, and you're not getting the results, then it seems that the documents are not born digital or are not searchable or indexable by Copilot. Without wasting any further time, let's get into the demo. So let's configure a new library in Searchability. So I will go ahead and select SharePoint Online from the drop down because I want to check the searchability of my SharePoint Online tenant. So the whole tenant is something that I want to add to the scope. So this is how my SharePoint tenant looks like. It has quite a few site collections and subsites within the site collection. I want to go ahead and audit and OCR all the files in my tenant. So I'll put in my tenant URL and I'll select the Modern Auth. For the Modern Auth, I need to put in the Azure application ID, the tenant ID, certificate path, and the certificate password. Don't worry, it's not difficult. Microsoft has released a new commandlet which makes it very easy, and in this demo, I'm going to show you how you can use it. So this is the article I'll be using. I'll also be dropping the link of this article in the description section below. So I'll paste in the commandlet in the notepad and let's fill in the blanks, or let's change the required fields in the commandlet. So let me dock this side by side and let's log in into portal.azure.com. Now to do this, you need to be an admin. So that's a prerequisite because an admin sets up this tool in the SharePoint Online as well as the Azure tenant. Let me change the application name to Searchability.Nutrient. The next it needs is the tenant name. So let me quickly copy the tenant name. The tenant name can be found here and my tenant name is M365EDU. Perfect. Next, what I want to do is I'll leave the store CurrentUser, it's fine. The permissions also look all right. I need to change the username and I also need to, and it should prompt me for an interactive login. So let's put in those details as well. Let me quickly format this command so that I can paste it in my PowerShell. Perfect. So I'll copy this command and I'll paste it in and I'll hit enter. Oh, wow, I get an error. It tells me a parameter cannot be found, that is username. So the username parameter cannot be found in the commandlet. Surprise, surprise, it is Microsoft, right? So they put in something, but maybe the PnP PowerShell doesn't have this particular key yet. Okay, so let's think of another workaround. So here we need to get rid of the username. That's the first attempt that I'm going to do. So let me copy this command again. So first thing that we need to do is we need to add a different command. I'm going to pass in a parameter certificate password and I leave the interactive as is. Okay, so let's see if this works. Okay, now it tells me that interactive also is not available. So I'll just hit enter, remove interactive and hit enter. What I have done is that I have added a parameter. I'll repeat again the certificate password, and then I convert to secure string, and the password is Clavin. Okay, the password of my application is Clavin. It went ahead and did nothing. The reason is I got another error. Okay, so the error is that I missed out M from the tenant name. Fat fingers, Clavin, that's not good. So let me check it again and let me paste this. Now it tells me that I again put an interactive. So remove the interactive bit. Perfect. So it now prompted me and it tells me you're signed in. Please close the page. That is perfect. And it's doing something for me. What it's trying to do is telling that I have created a searchability app and this is the ID. And it tells me, please wait, right? Please wait for a few seconds to update the Entra or the app registration and launch the current flow. So you have to be patient out here and we need to wait together. Perfect. So it prompted me, it opened the browser again, I'll sign in and it's asking me for consent. That's perfect. I agree, I accept. And I think we have successfully installed. And the beauty of this is that it created a certificate, it created the PFX, it created the cert, it also gave me the base64 encoded string, and it also gave me the certificate thumbprint. So that's perfect. So let's quickly fill in the blanks when it comes to our searchability application because we have configured this. So I'll go back into my Entra, I'll click on app registrations. I'll quickly copy this. I'll put in the Azure application ID. I'll put in the Azure AD tenant. I'll copy the certificate path. And I'll type in my certificate password, which was Clavin without the double quotes. Okay. So once I have done that, I can just click on save. It tells me it's attempting to connect and voila, it connected. The first step would be to run an audit on my SharePoint. So I'll just select the audit and I'll select all the default options. I don't want to save the files locally, so the archive settings are turned off. As I told you, this is the default settings that I'm going to use. In fact, the default settings works for most of the use cases. So it tells me that it's the entire tenant, so that's all right. So let it run. We will pause this video and when it's done, I'll come back. So we'll use the power of video editing out here to save some of your time. Perfect. So here if you see, it is still enumerating the files. I just unpaused in between to show you the progress. So what it's trying to do, it's going through my entire SharePoint right now and it's trying to find all the files that are not searchable. In short, all the files that are image only. So here you see that it has audited 34 files already and my SharePoint has got around 860 files. Again, fast forward and here you see that a nice little report has been generated. It tells me that it has 860 files and out of which the image only PDFs are 96.9%. Uh-oh. That's why nothing comes up in search. That's why nothing gets picked up by Copilot. So here I can also generate an audit report which looks like this. So in red, it means that they are not searchable. And as I told you again, most of the files are image based out here. If I can select this, but you get the gist. Most of my SharePoint is not searchable. In fact, 97.8% of my SharePoint is not searchable. And it creates a report for you. So let's quickly flip the switch and make it searchable. I'm going to select all the threads or all the cores that I have. You can go up to as many cores as you want. So you can run OCR processes in parallel. I'm going to use 22 because my computer has 22 cores. And I'll start the process again. So again, I'll pause the video and let's wait and come back. Perfect. So I have unpaused the video because we are nearly to the end. It has OCR'd 831 files out of 833. So as you see, it's trying to OCR the next two files before I finish speaking. It has completed it. So within a few seconds, we should have a SharePoint which is searchable, in which your Copilot can pick up the files. Perfect. So it seems that the SharePoint is 99.9% searchable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my SharePoint and I will go into the SharePoint search and I will search for patent. If you see that it gives me good results. And the first file that I see is patent review. Here it clearly tells me what it is, what it has, right? The same applies for Copilot. If Copilot now goes and tries to search for the file, it will now be visible. I hope that this quick demo was informative. Thank you for your time. Have a great day and bye-bye.